So welcome back to the Dad Decisions podcast. I'm joined again today by my lovely wife, Lauren.
Hello.
And this will be our second installment of Let's Ask Lauren. So, Dad Decisions podcast, your host, Mike Potter, my guest, Lauren Potter. Let's make some dad decisions together. Now,
what questions do we have?
So once again, you have no idea what these questions are going to be.
No.
Mm-mm. Well, but before we do that, so I like to start my episodes with what I call housekeeping. And you listen to my podcast, so you know that.
Damn. Uh-huh.
Okay. So as usual, we'll start off just by saying, I've got a phone number, 318-373-4488.
Right.
People should call that.
They should call.
And leave voicemails.
Absolutely.
Text it.
With questions.
With questions.
Yep.
Or like the dad decisions that they're making, right?
Yep.
Right.
Right.
And what's the thing I always say next in my episodes? Like I always have like another thing next. Well, you just said you listened to it, so.
I don't know.
You don't remember? Like you skipped
I'm
that
getting
just
really
to get like the good
nervous
stuff?
right now. I'm getting hot and sweaty. Like I feel guilty.
Yeah.
I told you I'm not into podcasts. It's just not my thing.
Okay. That's fair.
I listened to your first two.
Whatever.
I did.
All right.
I did.
So as I always say, find me on social media. Dad Decisions Podcast on pretty much everything. Dad Decisions Podcast on email. You can email me. I've got Instagram. I've got
The
TikTok.
TikTokies.
I've got the TikTokies. I've got Twitter. Oh, and I recently signed up for Vero.
What is that?
It's like I don't want to promote it here because they haven't paid me any money.
Okay.
But it's essentially
Fair.
another social media thing. Like I've seen a bunch of people kind of hyping it up. I signed up for it. I posted like one of our Dad Decisions videos on there.
Okay.
I got like one person following me.
Who is it?
I don't know. It's some other account.
Oh,
like
okay.
some guy who takes pictures. It's all like around like visual things, like for photographers and things like that.
Okay.
And since I'm a creator, technically I create video.
Mm-hmm.
Then I consider myself a creator. Not a very good one, but I'm a creator.
Okay.
So I signed up for an account.
Yeah.
And this guy, though, like all of his videos look like a falcon, like the bird's eye view from a falcon, like flying over mountains and things. And it's like beautiful videos. And I'm like,
That's actually kind of cool.
it's really cool.
Yeah.
At any rate, so I have that. You can go find me there if you want to. If you don't want to, that's okay as well. So before we get started on this first episode, look, you got a bunch of hummingbirds out there. You got 2 hummingbirds out there.
Oh, wow.
So we're recording in a new place today.
The kitchen.
The
kitchen.
The kitchen. Nobody's going to understand that. Nobody's going to understand that. We did our last episode on the couch over there and then decided today for hopefully quality of the video and kind of how we were sitting and kind of felt a little clunky. Like
it was all slumpy.
My foot was spinning around all weird the whole video and you weren't real impressed with how you were sitting.
No.
So we thought maybe the table would work better. We'll see.
Yeah.
But behind us or behind the camera that you can't see is our backyard.
It's oasis.
It's not an oasis.
It's a garden.
We have a bunch of plants out there.
And there's hummingbirds and bees and pollinators.
That one actually
it's perched.
It's perched there.
It's magical.
Here's the thing I saw the other day. I can't remember if it was one of those like most Googled question in the world or something like that. And it was like, do hummingbirds have feet?
Yes, they have feet.
Well, most people don't know because you very rarely see them land.
They perch.
Yeah.
And this one's really pretty. I wish y'all could see it.
Yeah, you'll have to explain to the people what that hummingbird looks like, Lauren. Like vividly, since they can't see it.
Well, right now, all I can pretty much so is that there's red throat hummingbirds, which are typically, I think, males. But one is just sitting there perched on a branch on our Vitex. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just kind of hanging out. I think it's interested in our podcast, actually.
Probably listens more than you do.
Probably.
All right.
In all honesty.
So the last Let's Ask Lauren we did, I put the video behind a paywall, and I don't think I'm going to do that anymore because you're all a bunch of jerks and nobody signs up for my Patreon to help me.
Wow, you're dissing your peeps, yo.
I'm not dissing them, but this is a space where we're real with each other, and I need you to know that you win. I'm going to put these out like publicly because you've proven that you don't want to pay to watch them, and that's okay. That's okay. Maybe when I have more than 1,000 listeners, I'll start charging people for stuff. But for now, the 4 of you that actually listen to this, whatever. Thank you for that.
We thank you.
We do thank you, I suppose. Why do you thank them?
I don't know.
Just because you support
I think
me?
it's a nice thing to do. I do support you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So some of the feedback that I got from the last episode of Let's Ask Lauren was really around how it felt like I was getting a lot of the things that I wanted to know off my chest.
Okay.
It's not true. And that Lauren, so for the people that know you, 'cause not everybody who sees this personally know you, they're like, it's obvious that Lauren was on her best behavior.
Totally.
So how do you think for this episode, though you like to be on your best behavior, you realize this isn't a children's podcast. Your principal at your school probably isn't going to see it.
I know.
So you could be a little more like honest and truthful in your responses instead of trying to be like politically correct and like not trying to be hurtful in your responses. I mean, you can just speak the truth.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So you want me to get crunk?
I don't know that anybody's gotten crunk since like 91. But you could get crunk if you want
I'm
to.
going to get crunk.
Okay, get crunk. So I've drawn up a few questions here. And I'll tell you, one of these questions is from a listener. So be polite. As these questions are asked, if you're like, who the fuck asked that stupid question? I'm just going to let you know, a listener did submit one question. So of these like 8 questions that I have here, I'm not going to tell you which one. One of them was asked by a listener.
Okay.
I left out the ones my brother wanted me to put in.
Oh, man. I'm kind of interested, though.
Yeah. His got left out.
His are probably nasty. Were they nasty?
I don't vividly remember, but they were definitely like sexual in nature.
Oh.
You know.
Well, you know. Why is he so curious?
Why is he so curious?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think most men, I have some questions here that
Okay.
might help with that.
All right.
Most men in their marriages, I feel like we don't understand our spouses, and our spouses may not understand us, like physically.
What do you mean physically?
Like we don't understand what our needs are and like how to understand how that goes.
Well, I mean, unless you're vocal about it, that's different.
Which is generally a bad idea.
No, it's not necessarily a bad idea. It's
not the best idea. All right. Ready?
Ready.
Question number 1.
All right.
Why can't women take a compliment?
Because we think everybody's lying to us. Liars.
Why? This goes back to the last episode where I was like, why ask my opinion if you're not going to take it? But so
okay.
Compliments aren't necessarily like you don't ask for them, but I just offer that to you. So when you come out into the room, sometimes I'll tell you, oh, you look beautiful or whatever that is. So you haven't asked me for that. So
No.
different than my opinion. If you came out and said, hey, how do I look? And because you asked me, I respond in a certain way. But this is, nobody's asking you.
Right.
You just walk into a room, and I'm sure it happens at work. You probably get to work, and Emily says, oh, your hair looks good today.
No, she doesn't.
Okay. Well, maybe.
My hair is always up, so my hair doesn't look.
Okay. Maybe your makeup looks good today. Or, hey, girl, did you do something different with your eyes? Or
Okay,
whatever.
okay.
Or, oh, it looks like maybe you've lost some weight, or whatever those compliments are. And you're like, whatever.
You don't say whatever. You say thank you. That's really nice. Or you're just like, you kind of brush it under the rug, and you're like, oh, what? I think it just... Okay, so for me personally, I can't speak for all women, right? Because we're all so different.
No, we talked about this in the last episode.
So
these Let's Ask Laurens, you're the voice of all women.
I don't feel like I should be the voice of all women.
These episodes don't make any sense.
There are women out there that are probably like, I disagree with Lauren. I don't think that's right. That's not how I personally feel.
They're allowed to do that, but you need to be the general voice of women today.
Okay.
Because again, I think it's a fairly like normal thing that women don't take compliments. But you know what? Flip side of that, I think it would be weird if you were like, "Hey, Lauren, you look really beautiful today," and you're like, "I know,"
That's true.
so
kind of cocky, yeah. Which
can women?
I'm
be cocky?
sure they're. Well, I think so. Yeah, like they can kind of be full of themselves.
Yeah.
I've seen some women that have been, and and part of it is, wow, that's amazing that they have that confidence, that air of, a woman walks into a room, and usually you can tell, like, if a woman is like a confident woman, she kind of holds her head up high. She kind of like walks with
So I guess giving that woman a compliment like is less acceptable.
What?
because she's already has like air of confidence. Like you feel like if you give her a compliment, she's just gonna be like, I know. So you should find like the woman that appears that she doesn't get compliments often and give her one.
I mean, for me, yeah. I think it's important to compliment other women.
Yeah. Do women compliment women?
They often don't.
Is it more likely that they talk bad about them?
Yes. Unfortunately, it is. But I think it's so important for like this, women to support other women.
Yeah.
There was a lady in the grocery store the other day, and you could tell like she worked hard. Like she was in shape. She looked really nice. I looked like a hot mess. And I complimented her. And I was like, I can tell you work really hard. You look great. I obviously didn't know her. And I think she was kind of taken aback. She was like, oh, well, thank you. She's like, I've had, 2 kids. So I don't know. I think it's important.
Why does that, this isn't one of my questions. Why does that matter? Why do women assume that because they've had children,
they should look a certain way?
Well, that they're behind the curve somehow. Because and I've heard this before, and it's not one of my questions, but I'm glad you said that. Because all too often you hear, she looks good for a woman that's had kids. Or,
True.
Oh my gosh,
saying.
how amazing. She looks so amazing. Do you know she has 3 kids? Look how amazing she looks. It's like, and now I understand, and I'm certainly not trying to speak like I'm the forward authority on childbirth and like what it does to a woman's body. I understand there's an impact to a woman's body to carry a child and birth a child. I get all that.
Yeah.
But it seems like
it's beautiful and tough.
But it seems like an unnecessary comment to say that person is attractive, and isn't it even more impressive, or like for a woman that's had children? And you're
right.
like, can't they just be attractive? Why do you have to say it's? I don't know. It's almost like, wow, that person runs really fast for a one-legged person.
Right.
You're like, well, are they fast or are they not fast? Like it's a disadvantage.
I get what you're saying. I think it's just our society I don't know. It's like, oh, I popped out a baby, and, I worked really hard and now look at me. And that's great and well and everything, but I totally see what you're saying.
Yeah, they're either accepting a compliment because they look nice, they've worked hard, whatever that situation might be. I just think it's unfortunate that the extra added piece to that is for a woman that has 4 kids.
Yeah.
So in comparison to a woman that has 2 kids, is she not attractive? In comparison to a woman that has no kids? Wait a minute. Oh, that's the back of that. I was like, there's no lights on that thing. You know what I mean?
I do.
Like putting that into perspective?
I do, yeah. But it's important to, I think, compliment just women in general. Mm-hmm. I think, maybe not even physical appearances. I know you and I talked about this. It's like, wow, you're strong. You look really healthy.
Yeah,
you seem very kind.
Yeah, like
you seem loving. You're a great mom.
What that booty do,
What that booty do?
Mm-hmm.
What that booty do? Mm-hmm. Do I compliment a woman on her booty? Do I say, hey, girl, what that booty do?
Yeah.
She'd be like, creeper. Or it could go the other way around. She's like, oh, you want... I'll show you. I'll drop it like it's hot right here.
No, girl.
You're like, girl, I'll show you how to drop it like it's hot.
Come on, we ain't trying to do that. All right. So why can't a woman take a compliment?
I don't really want to say we feel like everybody's lying. I think it's just, for me, I get embarrassed. I'm like, oh, no, I don't, or it's nice, but it's just, I guess I just don't believe it, really. And that's a me thing.
No, I'm going to have to keep telling you, you're the voice of all women today.
All right.
You have
Fine,
to.
that's a lady thing. I don't know. Sorry, ladies, for out there if you don't feel that way.
So you think that the majority of women just struggle to believe the compliment that they're receiving?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What's the deal with all the noises?
The noises.
Gasps, deep sighs. So, and again, making sure this doesn't feel like it's a mic thing.
Yep.
It's kind of, you've noticed lately that there's people online that make these videos about how their wife is always gasping about stuff. We saw one the other day where it was like, she goes, oh, he's like, oh my God, what? And she's like, there's a sale on these pants. He's like, oh, wow, would you stop that? So there's all these noises. And so I was writing this question. I'm like, I don't want it to just be that one. Uh-huh. And for you personally, it's a lot of sighs. It's a lot of deep, like.
A lot of sighs. It's a lot.
And I'm like, what was that? And you're like, just a deep breath.
It is.
And then some days it's like, I'm just It's like that sigh could mean 1,000 different
It
things.
could. I mean, I'm annoyed. I'm frustrated. I'm tired. Nobody's helping me. I'm doing everything myself, which is, I know, not true. But it gets in my head. So those are the sighs.
Now the gasps. What about like when I'm
That's
driving
excitement.
the car?
It's like, oh my gosh.
No, it's not. What about when I'm driving the car and you think we're going to die every 30 feet?
Do I gasp?
You
I do.
you like brace yourself.
I do, and I have my imaginary break. I don't realize that I'm gasping, I guess. So this is all new to me that you've just shared
I
this
can hear
with
you
me.
because I'm looking forward and driving and I can hear you next to me. Like,
I am the worst. I know.
But, you know, as much as I'd love to say, okay, that's just a Mike and Lauren thing, because we've seen so many different like little videos about it recently
It's
from
a thing. It's a
got to
thing.
be like a woman thing.
It's a thing, yeah.
Do you know other women that do that?
My sisters. My mom.
So yeah. You know, plenty of women that do that. you're just like gonna name every
My
woman
aunt.
you know. Your aunt.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So what's the situation with that? Like, why are we doing that?
I don't know. It just like comes naturally. The whole like excitement, gas.
Now I'll tell you, you haven't always been that way. Like in your 20s and well, you're only in your 30s now. So yeah, say in your 20s.
Nice.
Yeah, well
I'm
played.
totally in my 30s.
Well played. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't remember that. I don't remember as we were together at a younger age, you doing all the gasping and sighing.
Maybe
and
it's like when you're getting older. I don't know. I don't know what the reason is.
things. Okay.
It's kind of fun too. When you get really excited about something, you're like, oh my gosh, can you believe?
Now, what would you do if I started doing that?
That'd be weird. That
Why?
would be weird because
Men aren't
Guys-
allowed to get excited
guys
about
don't
things.
gas.
Like, what if I was watching football and like there was a really like good catch and I was like,
I probably laugh at you.
oh yeah.
Like, are you okay?
It's like you just scored a touchdown. Like our celebrations are a little different. So is that just like a way for a woman to celebrate something she's excited about? Like
Either excited or freaked out about.
a hummingbird,
We also have a Barbados
whatever.
out there.
We're not turning this into a horticulture web podcast.
Oh gosh, can we one day? How boring would that be?
We'd probably get a bunch of listeners. There's probably a bunch of people like you that would love to know what attracts
Oh
hummingbirds.
my gosh, butterflies, hummingbirds, bees,
All
all
right.
things. All
Ready?
things. Ready.
True or false?
False.
Good, because now you don't know the question.
Okay.
But true or false?
Uh-huh.
When a woman says she has a headache,
Keep going.
how often is that true?
How often is this from a listener? Is that the listener's
I'm not
question?
going to tell you which one's from a listener.
That's not fair.
Why?
Because I would like to know.
No, I don't have to tell you that. It's keeping these relevant because you're going to answer them a certain way if you think they're from me.
I'm
and
gonna
you're
get
gonna answer them
crunk.
you get crunk.
I'm gonna get crunk.
So when I say a woman says she has a headache,
Yep.
you know what I mean.
Or a stomach ache.
Or I'm too tired.
I'm tired. It's usually I'm
or
tired for
I
real.
just, my tummy hurts, or it's just, I'm just basically I'm not in the mood for whatever reason is.
Right.
But for a woman to say I'm not in the mood,
Yeah.
that's completely different than saying there's a physical ailment that's preventing me from being intimate.
I think if you say you're not in the mood, that's hurtful.
So so let's ease into this.
Okay.
So then instead of saying that, you make up a fictitious ailment.
Not all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Not all the time. Like for me, I don't get headaches often. So you haven't heard me say I get a headache. It's usually a tummy
That's fine.
thing, or for sure I'm too tired, which I honestly am really freaking tired all the time. But it's not because
That's not. I didn't ask that question. You're offering that information.
You can't say we've never done it. I mean, we have 2 kids, so that's twice.
At least twice.
At least twice.
Yeah.
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 So
No.
there's that. But no, in all seriousness, I think it's just, women and men have different appetites. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, no, forget that.
Okay.
Don't. We
don't wanna go
let
there?
me get away from the question because
All
we
right.
know that's true. Mm-hmm. But why? Again, true or false?
Okay.
When a woman says she has a headache,
Okay.
is it really a headache?
For me,
You're the voice of women today,
yes.
so she's being honest.
I think so.
So for the men that are listening to this, when they're like, what's up, girl? I think tonight maybe we can, do some things. She's like, I'm sorry, sweetheart. I have a headache. You're under the impression that she's being honest.
Well, maybe she doesn't really have a real headache, but maybe she's just not feeling so great. So she says she has a headache. You know?
You're not answering the question.
I'm not. I'm not going to.
You know what? Okay, let's make a new rule.
Fine.
Out of these questions, you get 2 that you don't have to answer.
Okay, cool.
So is this one that you don't want to
I think
answer?
this was, yeah, let's skip this one.
Okay.
Let's skip.
I'm going to make a note that you've used one of your 2, because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got like 5 more. So you want to use one this early?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do. Feeling confident.
All right, you used one.
Okay.
Ready?
He's sighing now. Go ahead.
Why do men get called messy when women are worse?
What? Worse?
Yeah.
How so?
Do you want to, and again, I don't want to make this about me and you, but I would say in general, let's just talk about a woman's cabinet in the bathroom.
Okay.
In general, it's chaos.
How so?
There's like 80,000 different products.
But are they in baskets? Because if they're in baskets,
we're not talking about you.
they're organized.
You seem
by
to
God.
justify your chaos by putting it in little baskets.
So pretty.
It's like there's still 80,000 things. They're just each one
In a basket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but anyway.
Okay.
Let's talk. Okay, so Olivia's bathroom.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
I think that's a more typical.
Disgusting.
I think that's a more typical girl bathroom.
Okay.
All right. So forget you and your 50 baskets.
Okay.
All right.
Fine.
So why is it in general? Remember, we're not talking about me and you. In general,
Mm-hmm.
are you looking at my ears? Do I have ear hair or something? I see you. You're like,
Really? No, sorry. I don't know. I mean, you look really good today.
no, I don't. For somebody that's had 2 kids. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks.
All right.
Okay. Why is it that men are messy?
Why is it that men are messy?
There's like this air that women. So women listen, and I've had the opportunity to walk into a woman's restroom before, and they are like a public restroom for women, and they were disgusting.
It is gross. I have to say.
And I've been to men's restrooms.
They're
that
nasty
are,
too.
Well, I think they're probably cleaner than what I saw in the women's restroom.
Well, maybe because the way you get to stand and pee, I don't know. I guess that we have so much more crap than you guys as far as products and makeup and hair stuff. And it's one of those things where I'll walk over to your side, which actually I did this morning. It's total hypocritical and I'm calling myself out because I had to stop myself. But I walked over to your side of the sink. I'm like, this is disgusting. I don't understand why he has all this crap. Because there was like hair and there was just like junk everywhere on the countertop.
But
and
was
then,
there?
No. And then I go over to my side and then I start looking at him like, this is even worse. Like, what? Why am I getting upset with him?
Well, and it's true. So most men, when we shave or whatever the situation is, the little hairs get and they get everywhere, and they're super. Even if I try to scoop and contain, there's always going to be little ones around.
Right, I know.
So I made a terrible mistake yesterday. I had shaved and it was in the sink, and some of it was on the countertop, and so I took the hairdryer and I was gonna just kind of get it. I was thinking I was blowing the grass outside, and you just kind of blow it all into one pile.
Floor?
Well, I did this, and it just goes. Got in everything.
Cool. Now we have to vacuum in there.
Yeah, well, we don't.
But I do love to vacuum.
I know you do.
Yeah.
All right. So why do women call men messy when in reality they're messier?
It's easier to call you guys out than accept the fact that we're messy, more messy than you. We want to point the finger, but not at ourselves. We want to point the finger at you.
Because God,
it's not me, it's you.
But think about it, car, a woman's car. Oh. The women's cars that I've been in are generally messier than the guys' cars that I've been in.
They can be. Mine is probably messier, but the kids are in the car too. I'm
not talking the back
in
seat. I'm talking center console.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
All right, so we're not really answering this with you. I liked your answer of it's probably because it's easier for us to point the finger than to accept it.
Yeah. It is. Because we don't want to admit that we're messy. We're ladies and we want to be clean and,
Oh my God, we've been going for 25 minutes. I may have to narrow some
Cut
of
it
these down.
short.
All right, let me try to pick one of these. Okay. All right. So, so me and you,
Okay.
just a little bit about our marriage. We do not fart in front of each other.
No, we do not. No.
Do you think that's unique to our marriage? And like for women though, because I tell you, men, like when we're in a room with each other, like that's
Y'all
a
rip
thing.
it.
We're just.
That's gross.
But like for women, like do they do that when they're in a group of women? And why?
No.
Like no, women
No.
don't do that together.
I have never been with a group of women unless maybe it's with my own sisters. But like friends, no, we don't.
Never. It's never like
No.
y'all are in the car together. And it's like oh my
I mean,
God, Betty.
not on purpose.
Yeah.
Not like you're like, oh, you know,
Guys
we're
do it.
burnt,
We'll
you
like
know.
we'll like lock the window so nobody can roll them
So
down and then rip one in
disgusting.
the car.
No.
Okay, so all right, so maybe that's a general term, but then as far as our marriage goes,
Yeah.
are you aware of couples where they do that in front of each other?
Yes, I do. I know.
I don't think I
Several.
could do it. Like intentionally. Like I guess I want you to be attracted to me. And so like if we were in the kitchen or something, I was just like let one out. And you're like, oh my God, like and it stinks and it's loud and it's gross. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
and then 5 minutes later, I'm like, so what's up? You're like, no, you're disgusting.
Yeah, no, it is. But you know, it's funny. We do it in front of the kids. Like if so, for example,
I
if
do
Mike
it
is
in
not
front of the
around,
kids,
I'll let one out, and Olivia will be like, "Oh, that was cute," and Andrew's
Cute.
like, "Mom, did you just fart?" I was like, "I did," and he's like, "All right," like,
okay.
So, and I know, and you do the same too. Like when I'm not around, the kids will
Yeah.
be like, "Dad, oh my gosh, you farted." It's
Yeah,
disgusting.
Andrew and I have a
So-
running thing going where I'll do it, and he's like, "Did you hear that?" I was like, "I think so." He's like, "What was that?" I'm like, "I think it was the dog." He's like, "Yeah, okay." Like he knows it was me, but every time I do it, he's like, "What was that? Did you hear that?" I was like, "Yeah, man." I was like,
Oh, yeah.
these aren't squeaky floors, but I
No,
think
no,
this is
no.
over here squeaking." I always
No.
have an excuse.
Well, there's also been like the occasional slip of a fart, like didn't mean to in front of you. Like I have a confession. The other day we were sitting on the couch and Haas was next to us. And I was just sitting there and I
Do
was
you
like,
blame that on Haas? That was like a ventriloquist. Like it sounded like it
did.
came from the kitchen.
know.
Well, I was even like, that's the loudest one I've ever heard Haas do.
I was like sitting there and we were on the couch and I was seriously like, feeling a little like maybe no. And then it happened. I was like on my phone, totally just scrolling, like straight face. I'm like, Haas, that was nasty. And I was like waiting for you to call me. I'll be like, was that Haas or was that you? I was like, that was me. I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. But no, I admitted it.
I trusted you.
First time on here. Yeah, sorry. You trusted me.
Maybe
But it was-
blame the
I didn't-
dog.
Well, he farts. He
does,
really
but
does
it was
fart.
loud. Now that I think back, that one was louder than his normal.
Yeah,
And so,
so
I was like, gosh,
embarrassing.
I hope he's okay. Like, jeez, girl.
I hope he's okay.
All right. All right, I got to pick one more out of these.
All right.
Okay. If we're watching TV together or watching
Which we usually do.
a movie, or let's just talk about, we were watching that recent HBO thing.
yeah.
And there's ever like an attractive woman or like a naked woman or anything going on, I feel you looking at me.
You do?
I feel you like. So and this kind of gets to the question.
Okay.
When an attractive woman is on television, even if maybe she's not even naked, but unfortunately for television today, you see a lot of nudity. When women see that, are they thinking, he better not be looking at her? Or he better not be comparing me to her? Or something like, do we immediately kind of start looking at us and then kind of like...
I might give you a little bit of the side eye, maybe, just because I'm like, does he find that attractive? Like, I might even look too and just be like, oh, that's a really pretty woman. I wonder if
We're so different.
he thinks so too. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that's what you think.
But my thing is, it's not like he's gonna go dial her number or something like that and give her a call.
Girl, I'll
and
be
like,
sending Daenerys Targaryen some text messages. Like, what's up?
hey girl, I saw you on House
What's
of
up?
Dragons.
I heard you like to ride dragons.
Yeah. So no, it's not like that, but I think that I don't know. It's just maybe it's a little uncomfortable too.
Yeah.
It's like when you see some nudity and like they don't show the men's
Some
front parts.
Some things do.
They show the booty.
They do show the booty.
But
I don't have one of those. Anytime I see that, I'm like, you can't really.
I don't know. But it just, maybe it makes me a little.
Like, do you get self-conscious where you're like,
No, I don't get.
Mike's watching this. He sees this woman. Obviously, nobody in the world looks like these women because they're trained 1,000 hours a day and whatever, right?
Well,
and so are you immediately kind of like,
No, I don't think so because you personally make me feel confident about myself in the sense that like you think I'm beautiful no matter what. Like I wake up in the morning and he still is like, wow, you look gorgeous. I'm like, I get that's a compliment. I'm like, yeah, sure, okay. He thinks I'm perfect and nobody's perfect, but you think I am in your own eyes. And so you make me feel confident in that way that I don't feel jealous. You know what I mean? But it does make me a little uncomfortable sometimes. Not gonna lie.
well, we've hit the 30-minute mark.
All right, that was
So
fast.
it was fast. It was good because we had good conversation. We laughed a little bit and it was fun. So I think the next time we do this, how would you feel about Ask a Dad?
Yeah, I'd
So
like to ask
you can turn it around and ask me things. And I won't, obviously kind of like these, I won't have any knowledge of what those questions are going to be.
Fair enough.
You just ask me.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yep. Sounds like fun.
Thanks for joining another episode.
It was fun.
Was it?
Yeah, I like it.
Good.
I do.
And hopefully the background worked out. Hopefully the video works out. Hopefully the audio works out. Hopefully we're not watching this in a minute and be like, God, I look terrible or the light was terrible.
Probably we're critical, so
We are.
we probably will, but we'll still put it out anyways.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
This will be out on Tuesday, so you'll get this Tuesday. I've already recorded the next episode for the following Tuesday, so I'm going to take a little break. Next weekend is not next weekend, but the following is homecoming, and you'll be out of town, and I've got to do homecoming on my own. So
That's going to be amazing.
that might make for a good episode of the dad's journey through homecoming weekend with a 15-year-old high school daughter.
Dad doing it solo.
God bless.
Yeah.
Y'all
Gonna
say a
rock
prayer
it.
for me.
Yeah, he's going to rock it.
Oh, you'll owe me.
I have a headache.
Yeah.